So yes, Chewgi and company have joined the team, and Chewgi is basically compulsory to progress from this point onwards, because it's basically impossible without him and his unifying Naginata, because it reflects attacks. I mean, it's pretty simple to get out. You've just got to draw a line, pause in the middle, and then continue that line to get it. It's slightly frustrating to get onto this platform. However, once you're here, you can pretty much fend off these things without too much hassle. Now, one thing that you do want to keep in mind is that these things are finite. They will run out eventually. So use that knowledge to your advantage, because once one bit's run out, you can safely move on to the next. Now, there is a bottle cap associated with these drill bacteria things. I will just get up the confirmation of what that is, because we're not going to get it in this run through, because I forgot that you can run back with these guys, and running back is a really excellent way of getting the bottle cap, because there is more than enough of the drills for you to stop in the entire level, but not necessarily in this stretch from when you get them to from when you get Chewgi to the end of the mission. So the bottle cap is called Impregnable, and you get it for repelling 100 drill cells with the Unifying Naginata. Yes, that is indeed 100. There is certain things in this game that does require quite a lot of you. This is one of them, although it's not as difficult as you would perhaps suspect, because there are so many drills in this mission for you to destroy. There are a few other ones which are much more of a hassle than Impregnable. Most notably Rogue Hero, which requires you to wreck 3,000 things. That one's a pain in the butt. Like, really ridiculously so. It's like, why, guys? Why must you do this to me? And at this point, I am literally just trying to get the bottle cap, and I'm not going to do it, because I'm not going to run back far enough, because I am an idiot. But, oh well. You get to see the general practice of how you're meant to do this bottle cap, but not the full hog of it. So I don't quite think that sentence makes too much sense. I mean, part of it does, because just go the whole hog. But I think that the way I just use hog doesn't quite work. Either way. Something you may be noticing, I mean, probably not, but you might have done, is that in the background you can see kind of various other cells, and cell type things. And one of them, which is the kind of sort of squidgy cone thing with lots of tentacles coming off of it, is kind of, I think, the cellular thing for quite a lot of the enemies that you face. Also, we have another form of Dura here. I believe it was a Guri Dura. Because it's always fun. The more Duras, the better, really, isn't it? I should be kind of not that annoyed, because really this guy is not that difficult. I have seriously faced worse enemies than this guy. The Megangs, for example. But there are perhaps too many versions of the Dura. Because you have the Dura, the Surrey Dura, and now the Geri Dura. Maybe should have had a little bit more variation in the enemy types. I certainly know for a fact that they have the creativity to do such a thing. But then I suppose this game is already packed enough as it is, and inputting any more things would just be ridiculous. Although saying that, we are going to have kind of brand new enemies even up to the around the last operation, so yeah, it's quite insane, really. Also, right now I'm not making best use of a certain kind of tactic that you can do with the bomb. Essentially what it is do a really big unite bomb and then send an attack liner into your enemy, and you will cause massive damage and get massive combo points, which is very helpful if you want to do that. Also, I should point out, there is a spout of water / air. Use Unite Ball, because you get a Hero Heart Fragment. At this point, you should see this as common practice. Whenever you see a geyser of any sort, you should, by all accounts, make use of the ball, because there is going to be something up there. Also, I'm very glad I didn't completely avoid this hold, because that would have been another embarrassing thing to completely miss. Although, it's not an important one in any way, shape or form. Now, getting onto that platform is not quite as easy as I just made it look. Because what you've got to do is you've got to kind of hover onto it, but doing so is a little bit of a pain. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's just something to do with the way it's positioned and being able to see that you're going to be able to make it onto it. But for the most part, it's not too bad. I say after just saying it's not too pleasant to get on. I don't even know where I am anymore with these things. Either way, we are kind of in the end part of Operation 007. 007A is quite long, but overall the operation is shorter than most. Also, to get that thing, you need to unite whip it from a distance, otherwise it disappears. Because it just decides it's going to be mean like that. But yeah, I think kind of I like that this operation is kind of shorter overall than the others, because I mean part of it kind of makes logistical sense in the realm of what's happening right now. So you've got the whole thing of all of the Gimme and Luke are heading to Blossom City, and then in the meantime we've got to save Vorken and Vorky. And really, even though kind of it's obviously going to take us a while to get back to Blossom City, it's not going to take us that long. So the length of the chapter the length of the operation fits into the timescale of what's happening, in the story, which I think is very well done, really. Also, look, it's another Geathjerk. Don't you just love these things? I mean, I say it probably fits a lot better in here than it has done anywhere else that I've seen it. I don't know why I'm being such a dick to the Geathjerk today. I guess because, for the most part, it's a really simple enemy to defeat, because it's literally just make a really, really massive sword and slash it a lot. I mean, if anything, that's kind of was my entire tactic for fighting throughout Metal Gear Rising, but still, you get what I mean. Now, I am really not sure why the mission didn't end right there. I think it's because I didn't quite kill off the Geathjerk somehow. So he decided he had to respawn and waste some of my time. Thankfully it didn't stop me from getting a platinum, so that's always good. No, I really, really do like Unify Naginata. It's not necessarily the single most useful Unite morph in the game. I'd say pretty much, if I recall a list somebody made, Unite Bowgun is probably the most useful, followed by Hand and Sword, and then kind of the others kind of drop down. Well, Hand, Sword, Bomb. The rest just decrease in usefulness, kind of. Don't completely quote me on that one, because my memory of that particular passage is poor. Also, I was very, very haphazard getting across that. You can do it safely. Also, you may have noticed there is a kind of little outcropping. It's not really an outcropping, well, it kind of is. An outcropping that is just sticking out of the platform we're on. And if you recall kind of the past few times where this has been the case, if you send a Wonderliner up against it, there are some goodies for us to get. So, as soon as we're done with this mission, that's definitely what we're doing. Oh look, it's the Surrey Doo-Rahs. They just decided to throw all of the almost all of the Doo-Rahs at us today. And now we get the awesome flames of having a nice and high combo ranking. It's not something that I think many people will have noticed. I mean, it really isn't something that I noticed until I seem to recall it being mentioned in a forum that happened. It was just like, that's actually really cool, because when that happens, your combo counter is going to increase kind of even more exponentially, because having the element on you basically improves the amount of combo multiplier you're gonna get. So it's a win-win situation, really. You've just got to kind of get high enough to be able to achieve it. Also, the claws may be a little bit weak, but I still love them to pieces, because, I mean, just look at the speed with which you could deal with that. It was just rather epic. Also, now that we have done with the that mission, let's climb all the way up. And we've got another bomb box to deal with. I'd say the worst instance of kind of the send a ladder up areas is to come, because although you may not realise it kind of in the previous bits where it's happened, the final instance where you need to do it, I would argue that it's nigh on impossible to tell where you've got to do it. Unless you just run around with a Wonderliner sticking up. You'll see what I mean when we get there. But also speak of the Magangi Devils. I still despise you guys, like, ridiculously. They certainly get easier kind of when you get Wonder Cyclone and Rising with Hammer. But until such time as you have them, they're just slow and tedious. Not nigh on impossible to defeat, but still just it's just like, guys, just die already, please. That would be pleasant, thank you. Also, a rather interesting thing, although it's not going to help you at all, is that after you've kind of cracked the shell, if you utilise Unite Whip, you can basically rip the bits of metal off the Magang. It serves literally no purpose other than if you are really, really desperate. It'll help you kind of get rid of the shell. Really, you should just use Hammer, because, I mean, why would you not? It deals damage and kind of sorts the problem out a lot quicker than Whip could ever do it. Take that, Magang, I don't want to deal with you anymore, thank you. Yeah, take that. And now we have to deal with an Anko. They're literally just throwing all of the enemies at us today. And also, I am really concerned that he's got an Anko in him. I mean, this thing is huge. I mean, I know it's now minuscule, but that's quite a big minuscule thing to have in your body. I mean, then again, so is having the Magangs, which was quite ridiculous. And now, I believe what I'm going to... Yeah, that's what I was doing, getting another Geathjerk file. Now we need to make use of Unite Bomb to progress. It's basically exactly the same as the screw that we had to face in Operation 005. Except instead of having to run up it, you've got to kind of just run along it. It's not hard. These platforms that we're coming up to, however, are slightly more difficult to get across, even when you are doing the bomb trick. They're saying that it's not really a trick because it's what you are expected to do. There is literally no other way for you to get across these platforms.
What the? What just happened?
It is an earthquake! We have engulfed Mother Nature! Mother!
Vorkin must be tossing in his sleep. He's probably starting to feel the effects of the bioweapon.
You're right. Time is of the essence. Team, move out!
Roger!
Well, probably not just that, he's probably also starting to feel the effects of us, you know, killing things in his body. Like, that can't be pleasant to feel. the bioweapon ain't really gonna do much in the grand scheme of things, considering the chaos we're causing. Well, saying that, I find it rather bemusing. Bit of a non sequitur, but that kind of in 2014 there was another game in which you had to go inside somebody to get rid of a dangerous weapon. In a much more disgusting manner than you see here. I won't spoil well, I won't say the game because I don't want to spoil it, because if you want to play that game, then it's kind of a massive spoiler. Not as big as kind of saying who the final boss is, but still. But if you've played that game, then you know what I'm talking about. So it's just bemusing that kind of, obviously, this game came out a little while ago, and then more recently there was another game that decided to have someone with something dangerous inside of them. Although saying that, it's not nearly as dangerous, because the bioweapon inside Vorky is literally only going to kill Vorky, whereas that thing was going to kill everybody. Also, I still love the Day Arcani. I don't know why. 'Cause, I mean, I used to kind of find the boss a little bit tedious, and then I think I just started just getting the massive sword out, and then it just became so fun. Because then it was just like, then you open it up, and then you just go multi-unite morph crazy on its innards, and it's just a very enjoyable thing to do. You can also completely wreck it with a Unite Bomb, well, the correct Unite Bomb maneuver. It literally destroys the thing. I'll also point out that obviously you can pick up enemies' weapons throughout the game, and it's highly likely that you will probably get all of the other enemies' weapons bar one. There's probably going to be one that you will struggle to locate, and that's probably because it's this guy's weapon. I mean, obviously it's exactly the same thing of following attack with the colour, well, kill it with the colour weapon that you see when it first appears, but this guy's weapon is probably the rarest of the bunch, and that's for the mind if I borrow that bottle cap. But don't worry, surprisingly enough, you are actually going to see me get that bottle cap. Not in the main walkthrough, but in the extras. It is certainly going to be there. Come on now, past me. You seriously didn't spot the massive hole that you are evidently meant to send it into. There we go. Although saying that, it is ever so slightly difficult to get things down there. But yeah, that's basically the end of the operation. The bioweapon is just ahead, and there it is. Well, no, that's the Nano Wonderful Mart, but the Nano Bioweapon is literally just ahead. So, that's what we will be doing in Operation 007B. And it is going to be awesome, and also probably rather hilarious, because they are going to play at least a few things for laughs in this boss fight. So, after a quick trip to the Wonderful Mart, it's time to move on. Let's do this.